Thank you for listening. This course was created to help you succeed in your educational journey. Learn more at baremetalcyber.com, where additional podcasts, books, newsletters, and cool merchandise await. Let's get started. Fine-tuning is the process of adapting a base model, often a large pre-trained network, to perform better on a specific task or within a specialized domain. Rather than starting training from scratch, organizations build on existing models by exposing them to smaller, curated datasets that reflect their unique needs. This incremental training process saves time, reduces costs, and preserves much of the general capability of the base model. For example, a general-purpose language model can be fine-tuned to better understand financial jargon, medical terminology, or legal phrasing. The importance of fine-tuning lies in making models relevant to particular contexts, ensuring that outputs are not only accurate but also aligned with the expectations of a specific audience. Without fine-tuning, organizations risk deploying generic models that miss subtle domain signals, potentially leading to errors, misunderstandings, or even compliance issues. Security risks, however, emerge directly within the fine-tuning process. Adaptation datasets, if poisoned, can introduce subtle but damaging behaviors into the model. A malicious task injection might slip into the data, teaching the model harmful or misleading instructions. Overfitting to biased inputs can cause the model to generalize poorly, amplifying stereotypes or producing skewed predictions. Model drift. The gradual shift in outputs away from intended behavior can occur if the fine-tuning set doesn't truly reflect the target environment. Each of these risks undermines the trustworthiness of the final adapted model. The danger is compounded by the fact that fine-tuning often uses smaller datasets, making manipulations harder to detect and their effects more concentrated. Thus, security in fine-tuning is not optional, it is central to ensuring reliable adaptation. Adaptation techniques vary, and understanding them helps clarify where risks might enter. Supervised fine-tuning is the most straightforward. The base model is trained with labeled examples for the target task. Reinforcement-based adaptation uses feedback signals positive or negative to shape behavior, often in tasks requiring judgment or preference alignment. Parameter-efficient tuning methods like adapters or low-rank adaptation allow smaller updates without retraining the full model, saving resources. Multitask learning enables a single model to be fine-tuned on multiple domains at once, balancing performance across contexts. While these methods expand flexibility, they also broaden the attack surface. Each tuning technique has distinct vulnerabilities. Supervised sets can be poisoned, reinforcement signals can be manipulated, and adapter modules can be tampered with. Appreciating the variety of approaches is key to building tailored defenses. Parameter-efficient methods, while appealing, bring their own security risks. Techniques like low-rank adaptation, or LoRA, insert small, trainable matrices into the model's architecture, producing lightweight checkpoints. These checkpoints, however, can be poisoned and shared through compromised repositories. Adapter modules are similarly vulnerable to tampering. An unsafe merging of weights can allow malicious patterns to seep into trusted models. Insecure storage of these lightweight modules poses yet another risk, as adversaries may alter or replace them without detection. What makes parameter-efficient methods especially dangerous is their portability. They are easy to share, quick to load, and often bypass the scrutiny applied to larger full-model checkpoints. Ensuring their integrity is therefore crucial, especially as these methods gain popularity for enterprise-scale adaptation. Data handling is the backbone of secure fine-tuning. Adaptation sets may include sensitive records, such as medical notes or financial transactions, requiring strict protection. Secure preprocessing ensures that raw inputs are cleaned, validated, and free of malicious payloads before entering training. Anonymization of inputs removes identifiers, reducing risks of privacy violations or accidental leakage in generated outputs. Compliance alignment ties these practices to regulatory frameworks, such as data protection or sector-specific standards. Without disciplined data handling, even the most secure tuning pipeline can falter, as corrupted or sensitive examples shape the model in unintended ways. Viewing adaptation data as a high-value asset worthy of the same safeguards as production databases places it within a governance framework that ensures responsible use. Pipeline security brings order to the adaptation process. Isolated environments prevent cross-contamination, ensuring that experiments don't leak into production. Artifact signing confirms that data and checkpoints are genuine at each stage. Monitoring adaptation jobs allows for the detection of anomalies, such as unexpected performance shifts or suspicious resource consumption. Strict access controls enforce who can trigger fine-tuning runs, reducing the chance of unauthorized experiments. Together, these measures form a secure backbone for adaptation, making the pipeline resilient against both mistakes and attacks. A secure pipeline doesn't just produce safer models, it also fosters accountability, making it clear who did what, when, and with which inputs. This clarity transforms adaptation from a risky experiment into a governed, auditable process. Checkpoint management is a critical safeguard in secure fine-tuning because adapted weights are as valuable as the base models they extend. Secure storage prevents unauthorized modification or theft, ensuring checkpoints remain trustworthy assets. Versioned history of updates allows teams to track how adaptations evolved over time, making it possible to roll back if a particular update proves flawed. Cryptographic verification adds another layer of confidence by ensuring the weights being deployed are exactly those that were intended. Without these practices, checkpoints can easily become points of compromise, silently shifting model behavior. Think of checkpoints as the ledger entries in a long training journey. If they are corrupted, the entire story of the model's development is compromised. Strong management practices protect both continuity and trust in the adaptation lifecycle. Evaluating adapted models is the necessary follow-up to checkpoint creation. Regression against the base model helps determine whether new adaptations improve or degrade performance on foundational tasks. Robustness checks ensure the model does not collapse under adversarial prompts or noisy inputs. Bias and fairness metrics provide insights into whether the adapted model perpetuates or even amplifies harmful stereotypes. Adversarial testing, in which the model is deliberately stressed, surfaces weaknesses that ordinary validation might miss. Together, these evaluations ensure that fine-tuning enhances rather than undermines the model's reliability. Evaluation isn't just about accuracy. It's about resilience, fairness, and predictability. By comparing against baselines and probing edge cases, teams can make informed judgments about whether an adaptation is truly production-ready. Access control for adaptation is another governance pillar. Limiting who can fine-tune reduces the chance of accidental or malicious changes. Scoping permissions ensures that even authorized users can only access what they need, preventing broad exposure. Approval workflows add oversight, requiring multiple stakeholders to review and sign off on adaptation jobs. Logging of activity creates accountability, enabling forensic review if something goes wrong. Together, these measures prevent fine-tuning from becoming a, quote, Wild West, where anyone can modify a model at will. In practice, access control aligns fine-tuning with broader enterprise security practices, where least privilege, oversight, and auditability are standard expectations. This alignment reinforces that adaptation is not an experiment outside governance. It is a core, regulated activity within the organization's security perimeter. Governance integration ties all these elements together into a coherent organizational framework. Documentation of the adaptation process ensures that every fine-tuning effort leaves a traceable record. Sign-off by security teams adds a layer of review that aligns technical practices with enterprise standards. Inclusion in risk registers acknowledges that each adaptation carries strategic implications, elevating it from a technical detail to a managed risk. Auditability of updates provides regulators and stakeholders with confidence that adaptations are conducted responsibly. Without governance, fine-tuning remains a technical exercise. With it, fine-tuning becomes an accountable, managed process. Governance ensures that adaptation contributes not only to performance gains, but also to the long-term trust and resilience of the organization's AI systems. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other prepcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Tooling for secure adaptation provides the foundation for making fine-tuning both efficient and trustworthy. Fine-tuning orchestration platforms streamline the process, coordinating data ingestion, model training, and evaluation while embedding security controls along the way. Dataset validation tools help ensure that adaptation inputs are clean, well-structured, and free of malicious content. Checkpoint signing utilities verify that updated weights have not been tampered with, while continuous verification systems monitor adaptations as they occur, flagging anomalies in real time. Together, these tools reduce the reliance on manual oversight and make it feasible to apply strong security practices at scale. Rather than treating adaptation as a one-off experiment, these platforms transform it into a controlled, observable process where safeguards are always active. Tooling is not just about convenience, it is about building guardrails that turn best practices into everyday defaults. Trade-offs between security and flexibility shape the practice of fine-tuning in real organizations. Stricter safeguards inevitably slow down adaptation, reducing the speed at which teams can experiment with new datasets or tasks. Limited rapid experimentation can frustrate researchers who want to iterate freely, while oversight requirements add layers of review before updates can be deployed. Yet loosening controls risks opening the door to poisoning, drift, or regulatory violations. Balancing innovation and risk means choosing where agility truly matters and where reliability is paramount. For high-stakes domains like finance or healthcare, security must take precedence. For exploratory projects, flexibility may be acceptable with proper containment. The art lies in designing processes that support both, perhaps through tiered environments where experimentation is sandboxed and production paths remain tightly governed. In conclusion, secure fine-tuning and adaptation are essential practices for aligning base models with the unique requirements of specific domains. The process begins with understanding what fine-tuning is, an incremental, data-driven adjustment that shapes a general model into a specialized tool. From there, the discussion expands into risks such as data poisoning, malicious task injection, overfitting, and model drift. Each risk highlights that adaptation is not inherently safe. Its value depends on the rigor of the process surrounding it. Techniques like supervised training, reinforcement-based feedback, and parameter-efficient tuning each bring benefits and vulnerabilities, underscoring the need for tailored safeguards. Checkpoint management, data handling, and pipeline security emerge as foundational layers. Without careful stewardship of artifacts, even the best adaptation efforts can collapse under hidden manipulations. Governance and access controls ensure that fine-tuning is accountable, auditable, and treated as a high-value organizational function. Evaluations against bias, robustness, and adversarial inputs create assurance that adapted models truly serve their intended purpose without unintended harms. Together, these practices move adaptation beyond experimentation into a repeatable, reliable discipline. The tooling ecosystem makes secure adaptation practical, embedding verification and monitoring into every stage of the workflow. Orchestration platforms, validation tools, and signing utilities turn abstract best practices into daily habits. At scale, these tools become indispensable, ensuring that growth in adaptation capacity does not outpace governance. Trade-offs between security and flexibility must be carefully navigated, especially as different sectors bring unique demands. Finance, healthcare, law, and defense each frame adaptation risks differently, yet all share the need for strong controls. This contextual sensitivity shows that secure fine-tuning is not just about the model, it is about the environment and the people it serves. Integration with MLOP's pipelines ties adaptation back to the rhythms of production. Adapted models flow into the same registries, monitoring systems, and deployment workflows as their base counterparts. This avoids shadow processes and ensures that governance is holistic rather than fragmented. Metrics and telemetry provide ongoing visibility, enabling rapid response to drift or failures. By embedding fine-tuning into enterprise workflows, organizations strengthen both efficiency and resilience, treating adaptation as a living, governed cycle rather than a one-time experiment. Strategically, secure fine-tuning becomes a pillar of enterprise AI governance. It prevents corruption of base models, protects compliance postures, and reassures stakeholders that adaptation aligns with organizational values. It transforms AI from a generic resource into a domain-relevant capability while preserving trust and accountability. The enterprise that masters secure adaptation not only gains performance advantages, but also builds credibility in its use of AI. In an era where trust in AI is fragile, these practices elevate adaptation into a strategic differentiator. As we transition to the next episode, which explores API gateways and proxies, the continuity becomes clear. Secure fine-tuning ensures the internal trustworthiness of models, while secure gateways and proxies ensure that external interactions remain controlled. Together, they represent the dual responsibility of AI security, protecting both what goes into the system and how the system engages with the world. By seeing adaptation as part of this broader journey, you gain not just a technical understanding, but a strategic framework for safeguarding enterprise AI end-to-end. Thanks for tuning in to Bare Metal Cyber, your trusted source for cybersecurity educational materials, news, and insights. Remember to subscribe at baremetalcyber.com so you never miss an update. And visit cyberauthor.me for best-selling cybersecurity books that equip you with expert knowledge. Until next time, stay secure and stay vigilant.